Okay, all praises. So today we're going to forego our reading from Babylon Timbuktu. We're going to go over some, I guess I say some core or foundational principles or some just great questions that were asked. So we're going to go over the first thing we're going to address today. Are we legalists? Are we legalists? And we're going to examine the Shabbat to determine if we're legalists or not. And then the second question we're going to revisit where we started last week is, was the Messiah crucified on Passover or not? And the last question we'll address is, does the days for us begin in the evening from sundown to sundown? That doctrine's been taught. I accepted when I came in. So we're going to go over, walk it down step by step, and try to get some understanding. And hopefully, last week some people saw it, some didn't. So I'm going to take my time and try to lay it out and see if we can get the correct understanding. And if we can't get to it, some topics won't get resolved till our King comes. But we're going to do the best we can do with the information we got. So everything is done with decency and order. What I'm going to do is I'm going to present all the information I have today. And when we go over these classes, family, no topic is exhausted. If I gave you all the research that I came across over these years, we wouldn't get past one topic. So most times when I give you the information, I'm trying to give you the black and white in your face information. And it's not the finality of these classes. What it is, it's a springboard for you to take this, verify it, and then go further. Go further. So no topic that we ever go over is ever a closed subject, and by no means is all the information exhausted. It's just a starting place for you. So we're going to ask that as we present the topics, those online in-house, just jot down your questions and save it for the very end, and then we'll afford time for everybody to try to get their question asked and answered if we can. If we can't, I'm not a prideful man. I'll tell you, I don't know. I haven't come to that understanding. But this way, everybody benefits from the questions, because Bereans asked some great questions. And I know many of you don't realize it, but last week was probably one of the best classes we've ever had. And you're going to see why, hopefully, by the end of today. So the first thing we're going to address is, are we legalists? So if you talk to a seminary teacher or preacher, they have 15,000 definitions for a legalist. My simple definition is, you're a legalist if you believe keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments make you righteous. Keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments do not make you righteous. And a couple years ago, I was having a conversation with one of the doctor seminaries, and he says, well, why keep the law if it don't make you righteous? And I says, because it's part of our contract. We don't have a choice. Paul told them, as Paul was trying to win over the pagan Israelites called Greeks, he told them, and let's go to it so we're not paraphrasing. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 10 and 4. I believe that's the one I want. 1 Corinthians 10 and 4 is the first precept. 1 Corinthians 10 and 4, Shema, when you have it. Shema.
Shema.
That's the one I want. I'm going to remember. Second. Thank you, Al. So, Salakia family is 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians 10 and 4.
Shema.
No. No, that's not it. Go back to, I think it is 1 Corinthians. Try 1 Corinthians. My memory is not good as it used to be. There's a precept, maybe it's in Romans. I'm sorry, Salakia family. I wanted Romans. Romans 10 and 4. My memory is not as good as it used to be. Y'all help me in this. So Romans 10 and 4. Shema, when you have it.
Shema.
Read.
For Christ is the end of the law for righteousness to everyone that believeth.
So the seminary preachers stop right there when he says Christ is the end of the law. And I call that cherry picking. You just cherry pick the verse, you hit your organs, and you got our Israelite people in sin. He says Christ is the end of the law. If he said, if the law was ended, he would have stopped right then and there. Christ is the end of the law. But Paul added for righteousness. So the Dr. Seminary says, well, if the law don't make you righteous, why should we keep the law? Because it's part of our contract. It's part of the covenant. So let's see how we should keep this Shabbat. Because when you come into this thing, so many brothers have turned this thing into a legalist system. If you don't have your head covered, the sisters in pants, if you ain't keeping the Shabbat like them, you're not in the truth. Your Moreh don't know what he's talking about. And all these people are caught up in their flesh, and they don't have the spirit or the Ruach of our King Yeshua. So we're going to examine how we set apart the Shabbat. And we're going to pick this up in Nehemiah chapter 10 and 31 is the first one. Nehemiah 10 and 31. And to me, just to give you a background, the reason why this is my pet peeve, I can tolerate doctrinal differences. We all are not left brain or right brain. So we can all perceive a verse differently. That's not my issue. My issue is when these brothers put burdens on people and have people suffering in captivity, and then you are determining who's in the truth or not, or who's dedicated to the Most High. That's when wickedness creeps in, and that's when you get a super Hebrew. Those online, if you came online late in the room, the handouts were sent via email, and Sister Latoya has confirmed that you can open the documents up. Nehemiah 10 and 31. Shema?
Shema.
Read.
And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, that we would not buy it from them of them on the Sabbath or on a holy day, that we would leave the 7th year in the exaction of every debt.
Now let's go back and get it again over in chapter 13. Chapter 13 and pick it up at verse 14 through 18. Nehemiah 13 verses 14 through 18.
Shema.
Shema. Read.
Remember me, O my God, concerning this, and wipe not out my good deeds that I have done for the house of my Elohim, and for the offices thereof. In those days I saw in Judah some treading wine presses on the Sabbath, and bringing in sheaves, and lading asses, as also wine, grapes and figs, and all manner of burdens, which thou brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. And I testified against them in the day wherewith they sold victuals. There dwelt men of Tyre, also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware, and sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Judah, and in Jerusalem. Then I contended with the nobles of Judah, and said unto them, What evil thing is this ye do, and profane the Sabbath day? Did not your fathers thus, and did not our all power bring all this evil upon us and upon this city? Yet ye bring more wrath upon Israel by profaning the Sabbath.
So, the last witness we don't have to read because it's saying the same thing, and it's there on your sheet in Amos chapter 8, verses 4 to 5. But when you go back and examine these verses, these wicked Israelites are not buying and selling to celebrate the Sabbath. They're not buying some juice to bring to the Shabbat. They're not ordering a pizza. This is commerce. This is trafficking. Victuals and wares, tread and wine press, that's not a glass of wine. You're manufacturing. You're running your whole business on the Shabbat like the Most High don't matter. So some of these brothers they think they have understanding, but this buying and selling is not you buying an individual item so we can all honor the Most High and have a great Shabbat. They're manufacturing. Asses laden with burdens. In today's terminology, they would be going to the warehouse getting boxes. They're trafficking on the Most High's day. So some of these teachers, rabbis, elders, whoever you want to call yourself, I'm not caught up in titles, we're servants. Whether you honor the lunar Shabbat or you keep Saturday, they make it a burden and they become legalists. But all those super duper Hebrews, you super duper Morays, when you stream your Sabbath service, you're buying time from your cellular provider. You're buying on the Sabbath. If you have to travel to your Sabbath, you just travel. So these people don't have an understanding. They're caught up in their carnality. And don't let these people put their convictions on you. It's the spirit behind what you do. So if you got to come and if you can't take the lunar Shabbat off because of your financial situation, you are a slave in Babylon. The Most High knows your heart. He knows where you are. He knew who's going to wake up, who's not. Don't let another man tell you how to honor your king. And the one story I share, won't put no names out there because that's not righteousness, has this one elder will always just condescend to people on the plantation, your loyalty to the plantation. But then he had a whole 2-hour class saying if we didn't do what we needed to do and donate to his ministry, he's going to have to go back to the plantation. And we won't be able to get all this good teaching. What part of the book is that? That's why you have to be Bereans. Never become sheep and let someone think for you. I don't care how long they've been teaching. I don't care if they baptized 5,000 in one day.